Hey guys, so today we have this. This is Ollie Dog. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm giving a little behind the scenes tour, how I record my videos, and even a little bit of my editing. So here, it's actually one of the cameras I use. It's a iPhone SE from, I think, 2023 or 2021. It's fairly old. It's nothing recent. However, this one gives me some 4K 60, but I usually record with this one around 4K 30, otherwise it gets my editor into a little bit of a tizzy. I don't mean editor Mikeanic, I mean my editing software. For some weird reason, it really doesn't like the QuickTime format in 4K 60, at least from this phone. This one here, however, I'm sure some people recognize that brand name, but this one's actually got quite a cult following. This is actually from 2015, and it records in 1080p at 30 hertz, so it's full HD but not quite. However, I do use this quite a bit to actually record videos. In fact, a bunch of my earlier videos were recorded a lot with this phone, and honestly, I've had this since 2015 when it was new, and this is a phone that was actually built around the camera, specifically that one right there, that sensor. It's absolutely huge, and then that also houses the capacitor for the actual real xenon flash. And this is a battery grip. I have one that's still brand new in box. I never opened it, but yeah, this is actually a battery grip, and this is an actual shutter button. It interfaces with the phone perfectly fine. I can even connect it to my computer, no problem. And through the case, it'll talk to the phone. And yeah, that is a fully functioning shutter button. Actually kind of neat the way they set this up. It was basically a phone built around the camera. And as far as GoPro, well, this is actually more of what it really is. It's not actually a GoPro per se, but it gives the same sort of feel, and it records in 4K 60 and is also electronic image stabilizing, which I have had to use because I've had it attached to my car a couple times and took it out for a drive. So yeah, then what's this for? Well, what I've actually been doing lately, that'll sit still, is, well, it's a 35mm film camera. It's not digital, it's 100% film. And what I've been doing is I've been using black and white film and taking some photos of lawnmowers, the different parts and stuff like that, and how they are in different states of repair. Look at this guy. He's just chowing down on the grass. Right, so back to this. Now I do have another phone that I do use. I use a Galaxy A51 specifically as a dedicated audio track. I don't have it here right now because I was still setting up to start recording actually this video, which is it's basically the twin for this mower except with a different engine. This is a Briggs Quantum, and this is a Tecumseh 6.75 horse engine. She's a big engine. For such a wee mower, that's a big engine. But yeah, I've been using this to take pictures of like different things. And yeah, the mower's in different states of repair. I'll share some of the photos of actually this lawnmower that I took with this camera. I'll share some of the photos here. I know it's not a lot, but yeah, that's this mower and this engine. I thought, why not? I'll have a little bit of fun. And those photos, they will be available. Like if anyone wanted to purchase a print of those photos, they are available on my well, I'm trying to get everything all set up on my shop first, and then once they become available, I'll have them available over on I'm going to try to have them available on my Buy Me a Coffee page, which I'll link down below, plus it'll be linked up here at the end of the video, and I'll also put a link right here if you're so inclined to take a look. There's really not much there, unfortunately, not yet. This is all new. I'm still learning and still trying to well, figure out exactly how to do this. And yeah, you see over there, yeah, there's little Mr. Pinch just waiting very patiently for me to need him. Yes,
it is I, little Mr. Pinch. I am little Mr. Pinch.
You are definitely little Mr. Pinch. Alright, well, little Mr. Pinch, right now I don't need you, but thanks for saying hi.
Oh, you're welcome. Also, if anyone want to know, I'm better than Mr. Pinch, 'cause I am little Mr. Pinch.
Okay. That was an interesting thing to say. So yeah, that's kind of like a little small behind the scenes of sort of how I record. I've got, oh, right. That's the next thing I should point out is, yeah, these guys. This is where all the audio happens. I guess you could say. So it comes with these little dongles. As you can see there in the iPhone, it's got that dongle there, and that allows it to actually communicate with one of these microphones. And here's the other one, USB-C. So if you had an iPhone with the USB-C, then, well, there you go. Or I guess Android and Samsung and all that. Before I break that, I'm gonna put that off to the side. But yeah, these little microphones, they're actually really neat. They're very clear. Yeah, they have seen some battle damage because, well, sometimes they do fall off my lapel because I'll bump them and there they go. Bye-bye. Unfortunately, that has happened. I've actually got 2 sets of these, and they're actually really good. They sit pretty good, provided I don't whack them off. Bump them off. But yeah, they're actually pretty good. As you can see, this one's not busted at all. Not yet anyway, but I'm sure that'll change soon, then I'm gonna have to replace them. But I bump them off my lapel all the time, so as long as I stop doing that, I'll stop breaking them. But these, they're really clear. Right now it's not connected to anything because even though I have it plugged into there, it's turned off. So yeah, it's not trying to connect. Oops, see, as I said, I drop them all the time. But the neat thing is they have a little magnet on them, so I drop them. But yeah, I can stick them in places and they'll basically sit there and like up on the handlebars and stuff like that. And then what I usually do is I'll have this iPhone. It's actually dedicated specifically to using these microphones in ambient sound mode. So it just captures the ambient noises. It'll capture my voice, but when the engine's running, then the sounds from the muffler, well, or I guess the sounds of the combustion, it doesn't cancel them out from the noise canceling. So you actually get a proper sound out of the exhaust. However, the one that I keep on my lapel, I'm not using one right now. I'm just using the onboard microphone on my Galaxy S23 because, well, if I really wanted to, I could record in 8K at 60 frames per second, or I can record in 4K at 120. It's kind of cool. I really do like that feature, but I mean, why? I'm not going in crazy high slow. Well, maybe I could with some, maybe in future videos, future ideas, let's leave it future ideas. We'll go from there. But yeah, I'll have the one on my lapel specifically for my voice. So it's in noise canceling. So what I'll do is, well, I'll leave that for when I'm editing. But yeah, my Galaxy S23, sorry, I just got lost on a tangent. My S23, it's got a stereo microphone. It's got a left and a right channel. So if I move from one side of the camera to the other, it will give you a right channel, or it'll give you a left channel, or hopefully that was the right direction. I'm not sure. I guess it all depends on what direction you're facing on the camera. I don't know. But yeah, it's just right now it's the camera I'm using. And for a while I was actually using my Galaxy A51, which, speaking of which, that one is specifically now used. That's the one that I have for a dedicated audio track specifically just for my voice, and it'll be set up in just voice recorder. I'll have that as the external microphone on my lapel in noise canceling, so it'll deaden the sound of the engine. And yeah, as I said, I'll leave this for the editing part to show you how I do it. Look at that guy. What the heck is he doing? Hey Ollie. Hey, what you doing over there? He's a psycho. Yeah, he's just exploring. So yeah, where was I? Oh, right, yeah, because the left and right audio with the S23, and it's actually a new acquisition because the A51, I wasn't going to actually get rid of it, but unfortunately my carrier's actually dropping their 3G. I know that's so old. You'd be like, what, they're dropping, who cares about well, unfortunately the I don't know, the way they're doing their phone systems, you have to have I don't know, like voice over LTE or some crazy nonsense, and that phone doesn't support it. So I had to, of course, upgrade to another phone. So that's how I ended up with the S23. But hey, I buy it cheap and I buy it for cash, and that's it. It's mine, and I know it's several years old. But anyway, yeah. So that's in a nutshell kind of how I do my videos. Is I have the A51 is for dedicated audio track, although it did used to do some recording, but that's specifically for my voice. Then I've got the iPhone SE or iPhone 2 SE or whatever the heck it is. That one specifically is for ambient sounds, and well, as you can see, it will get in pretty close and into the nitty gritties and stuff like that. I'm not worried whether it's close. I'll use this phone, the S23, for that as well. But I don't really use the I won't use this guy too much for a lot of the recording because it's old. It really is old. It's starting to show its age. But I mean, in all honesty, the camera on this is still really solid. And if you wanted to get started, this is actually a really cheap option. If you can get one of these really cheap, this is a great option. Or the one you're holding right now in your hand, that one, while you're sitting on the toilet watching this, yeah, that one, you can actually use that to start recording. In fact, that's what a lot of people do. So basically, yeah, that's how I record my videos. And yeah, I'd usually have my microphone clipped here, just where you could hear me nice and clear. And then of course my Mic Pro hat. I want to get ones that actually say Mikeanic on it. I really do. And a proper work shirt. Like, I know you've seen the my old Mazda shirt that I had from way back in the day. Like, that's back in, I think around 98, 99 is when I worked at Mazda. That was a long time ago. It's hard to believe. But yeah, that's when I used to work at Mazda. That's way back in my career when I was learning to be a Mazda tech. Go figure. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's kind of how I do my recording anyway. As far as my editing, well, that's a whole other story. And for the editor, I use CapCut. And so let's go over and take a look at that. So sneak peek, take a look at this. This thing here I actually found last night. I was out looking for lawnmowers and stuff that were thrown out. Now this actually isn't the coolest thing I found. Speaking of cool things, I mean, the temperature has been sweltering, and I mean sweltering. So while we were out last night, and it was funny because I even said to my eldest, I was talking to my eldest, and when we were looking for air conditioners and stuff like that. And so I said to him, I'm like, I bet you anything, I'm going to go out there and I'm probably going to find an air conditioner. Like, for sure, I'm going to find an air conditioner on that someone's throwing in. And he's like, no, you're not. It's pretty in the middle of a heat wave. No one's throwing out an air conditioner today, especially not a working one. Like, there's no way. So what happens? Yeah, we happen to find, my youngest and I, we go out and, well, we find this guy. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. So we grab that, and I haven't seen if it works. Maybe that's what we'll do. After I show you the editing, we'll come out here and we'll squirt a little bit of Cosby sauce in there. Or not Cosby sauce, sorry. Scrap that. We're not going to squirt any Cosby sauce in there because that's how you blow up two-stroke engines. Never, ever, ever squirt Cosby sauce or ether or any kind of quick start, because that'll wash down the cylinder. Well, the way two-strokes work is they suck the oil and gas mix into the crankcase first. Then it comes up into the combustion chamber, and then it gets burned and expelled. The reason it goes into the crankcase first is, well, the oil lubricates the crankshaft, the piston, and everything else. It lubricates the cylinder wall. So if you use, say, quick start or anything like that, it doesn't contain the lubricating oils that this thing needs, and ether actually will wash down the walls. Same with what's that other stuff, carb spray. So if you use like carb spray, stuff like that, yeah, you're just going to wash down the walls, and there's a higher chance that you'll just burn out your cylinder. You don't want to do that. So yeah, back to the story of what we were doing. We're out there, and sure enough, what do I find? I find a portable air conditioner, 14,000 BTU air conditioner, and guess what? It works fine, and Well, I don't know if you know Alex from Technology Connections. I'll link him below. Actually, I'll link the specific video below. But he was talking about portable air conditioners, and one of the things he said was the 2-hose systems are better because they're more efficient. Whereas the single hose systems, they actually use some of their cooled air that they've already blown into your house to help cool the unit, so they're not quite as efficient as the 2-hose system. Well, this is a single hose system, but it uses 2 passageways, so it brings fresh air in from outside to help cool the compressor as it blows the expelled air out. It's kind of neat. It's kind of a neat system. So it's a chambered hose. Really cool system. Okay, so when it comes to editing, I'm using CapCut. Now the funny thing is, this is actually a really old version, and CapCut's got a way of trying to make it so they force you to upgrade. And the problem with a lot of their features is they're all hidden behind a paywall. But in the newer versions, almost the entire program is basically a paywall. So if you try to export your video in anything higher than 720p, it says, oh, no. Sorry, you can't do that. But you can do it 4 times this month, and forget about even trying 4K. So a way that I got around it was just using an older version and then doing a little bit of background magic, basically meaning that I went into my app data and started changing some things and made some read-only locations, certain files, and then I did a bunch of stuff to make sure that no matter what happened, it could not update from this version, no matter what. And so far it's worked out pretty good. But anyway, when it comes to actually editing videos, so right here we have me working on that old Briggs and the old Briggs Quantum, and this is the one that back here. Let me bring up the whole photo part of it. So back here, let's pretend this spark plug didn't exist. I forgot that it was there. But yeah, this spot here, that's where the rust crack was and went all the way through. And anyway, here if you notice, the gasket's completely out of location. I was like, uh-oh. So I kind of had to put it on, take it off. I actually wonder if this gasket would have worked, because it turned out that this casing was slightly warped. So I double gasketed it, and sure enough, yeah, no problem. It worked after that. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It really, at this point, it doesn't matter. The mower's running, and that was all that matters, right? So anyway, let's go back. So let's say this whole section here, I wanted to remove. So what I could do is I can, using my cursor, it uses this yellow bar, and I can go say, let's say I just wanted this part right here, and that's all I wanted for, so I'll go from this yellow bar, and basically what I can do is if I hit the Q key, it will completely delete everything from that yellow bar all the way back to the last break. So I hit the Q key, and then I can drag it, and poop. Oops. My computer is like really struggling. It's like from 2017, so you got to bear with it. I do use some old equipment. My faster machines are like they're for other things, like my kids for gaming. So right, I move it back, so I'll have a seamless transition, or mostly seamless transition. So from here, 5/16. Darn it. So say I wanted to start playing it from here to make sure it was a good seamless transition. 3 5/16. Darn it. Let's try that again. And there we go. See, I had realized that, oh, I had screwed up with the gasket, as I had mentioned. So now what we got to do is I'm like, oh, well, that was a seamless transition, but what it never really said that I screwed it up, because if we go back here, I believe that's 3 5/16, and then if we start back again here, darn it, let's try it. Why was I saying darn it, and let's try it again? So if we scroll back a bit, see if we can just stretch it back, we can have a peek. Push the gasket off. Ah, there's a little bit more. So this is why I really like the one thing called the undo button. So now let's undo with Control Z, and we'll go back to the original one. And now let's check the transition. One here. Oops, I think I just pushed the gasket off. Darn it. Let's try that again. So there we go. Darn it. Let's try that again. So now if I wanted to basically cut out the part where I take it off, readjust it, and put it on, I can break it here, keeping all that before. So now I just had a camera change because I can actually turn on and off each track. And one of the things that I do with the whole thing is I'll extract the audio. So I'll have each separate track. And if you notice here, I've got 2 video tracks, but I got 3 audio tracks. So this one here is actually a microphone that I forgot to put on back onto my lapel. This is the one that's supposed to be capturing my voice track. So this video, unfortunately, at this point, the audio was a little bit echoey. I don't know if that picks it up here. Darn it. Let's try that again. But if I come way back here, where I have got 3 video tracks and 4 audio tracks, this I had the microphone on. So if I play from here, very much less echoey because it's not an ambient mic. So we'll run back here, and I can actually use my forward and back buttons to do that. And again, 2 video tracks, and this one's not actually supposed to have any audio. Good thing I came back here, because since I extracted the audio, I was just actually making sure that it was properly in line, because sometimes it goes out of sequence. And so if we listen to here, you'll hear the difference. On to it when the storm blows over. All right, I'll see you soon, guys. Very much clearer than way back here. Oops, went too far. Say right here. Next, let's get, as you can hear, it's way more echoey, which is really frustrating. So CapCut's, is it intuitive? It's not too bad. It makes things kind of easy in some ways. I mean, it's a lot easier than it requires less of a computer to run, so a less powerful computer to run, say, this program than DaVinci or Premiere. I've tried Premiere. I had a much more powerful desktop to handle Premiere, and sometimes even it would struggle. And I had kind of built it specifically to learn and run Premiere, because many years ago I had actually tried a YouTube channel, but it was just an experiment just to see what it was like. And I sort of learned a little bit of editing, and the genre that I had picked totally wasn't for me. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to just sit out for a bit. I'm going to see what I want to do and move on from there. So that channel, it's completely dead, and it'll remain in the pits of hell. Let's just put it that way. No one cares to know about that one. No one will yeah, we'll just leave it as a nightmare from the past. A bad memory from, well, you know what? It wasn't terrible. I mean, I did learn a fair bit. But for this channel specifically, when I launched this, I kind of started with CapCut on my phone. Completely editing the first, I think it was first 2, 3, maybe 4 videos almost entirely on my phone. And believe me, that was something else. That was really something else. Holy cow, that was a challenge. But needless to say, I mean, it got me started. So you don't need anything really fancy, right? And that's what I was trying to say, like when I was showing that phone from 2015. I mean, if you're worried that you don't want to have your own cell phone now, let's say you spent a fair good chunk of change on your cell phone, you really don't want to have it out, because what we're working with is like, it's pretty messy stuff, right? You don't want to get that on your phone. You don't want to accidentally drop it. If you want to you could pick up something really, really cheap that, say, just does 1080p at 30, like my old Nokia does. And I mean, sure, I've had it from new, and I mean, look, it still goes and it works just fine. In fact, I recorded, so the next video from this was this one up here. I'm gonna, let's see, here, this video here, the big Tecumseh. So this guy, in fact, here's the intro, and this is actually a video that I played on, or that I recorded with that Nokia, and it does 1080p at 30 frames per second. So, I mean, here, there's the video quality. You can see where it's focusing is basically in the center, and I kind of missed it, sort of out towards the back there, but it is what it is. But
Hey guys, so today we have this.
so I mean, in all honesty, how much more do you really need when it really comes down to it? I mean, this is not using anything but the onboard microphone,
Equipped with a Tecumseh 6.75 horsepower engine.
and as you can see, it does a really half decent job. Now, the only thing that I can say about this this particular phone is it does kind of tend to lean towards more blue tones, and that makes red seem really, really, really deep. So if your skin will be a little bit more pink than normal. It does not like artificial light. This loves natural light. So if you have spaces where you have lots of natural light, you can actually get some really decent
And
video.
run and stay that way, and maybe even cut a little bit of grass with it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of pauses, as you can see. And so since there's a lot of pauses in this, so let's see, let's start anew, and I'll bring that one in and I'll show you like with all those pauses. Okay, so we've got a brand new layout. So now we bring up our file folder that we were using, and this'll you'll see I've got an audio track here, and then I've got all these video files. So what I can do is I can take this and I can dump this all here. Now this is making me, there's my little media library. And then I have some basic clips that I add in, such as this one here.
How dare you? How dare you?
Right? So I can decide, okay, I'm going to bring that one in because I plan on using it. So I just drag it over, drop it in, because I do plan on using it. And anytime I want to put it in, I can just drop it, and basically,
How dare you?
there it is. Right? And I can add that anywhere, and I can cut and clip. And one of the ways that I know you'd want to do it the opposite way. Okay, so let's say that we wanna get rid of Greta. So we can say cut out, chroma key. This is one of the easiest ways, and then use a color picker. And let's say we click on Greta herself, and right now it's set at 0. So we can click this, and then we can click this, and she slowly starts to disappear. Okay, we're not going to do that. My. I'm going to get canceled for that one. I wasn't quite expecting that. Sorry guys. I don't want to get canceled. Okay. So anyway, so we'll go to Chrome. Okay. So we'll go to chroma key, then we'll pick the different color, such as the background, and then we'll adjust the strength, right in there. And now to get rid of that blue halo, we can just slowly increase it until poof. Now, yes, I know it looks like she's got a black background. So what we can do is we can go back to the media, and let's say we'll go to the intro, and we'll bring the intro in. And right now the intro's on top, so we'll flip these over. So we just drag that one on top of there, and look at that. There she is. And I can kind of shrink her down and move her anywhere, or if I really don't want her at this point.
How dare you?
Come on! Why would you say that? I just, you know what? Bye. I don't want you here. See? So now I just get rid of her. And just by hitting the delete key. So that's the good thing about the delete key. And if I want to bring her back, I could undo. And honestly, undo is probably the #1 button that you can have. I really do appreciate having the undo button. But let's get rid of Greta again. And we're going to go back to these pauses. So let's see if we extract the audio. This will help me identify where the pauses are. And I just scroll forward and backwards using the backwards and forwards buttons on my mouse. So if I hit Control plus, I can zoom in, Control minus, I can zoom in, or if I hold Control and scroll wheel, I can zoom in and out. But my scroll wheel is a little bit messed up. I gotta hit it with some contact cleaner because it kind of jumps there and there and there and there and there and there. Not so much sporadic like that, but yeah. But anyway, for this, usually at the beginning, I have a slight pause. Yep. right? Just to get everything all settled.
So today,
and as you see for here,
hey guys, so today
there's a pause.
we have this.
So what I'll do is I'll take here, I'll hit Control B, and that cuts straight across the entire thing. And then I'll come to here, and oh, so we have turn off main track magnet. Yeah, turn off main track magnet. We want to do that, which is the P button, as you can see in brackets or parentheses. You see P, so you can turn that on and off with the P button. So P on your keyboard and it gets rid of it. So let's say we wanted to come all the way basically to here. And then we can bring that back, and then we can check the transition.
Hey guys, so today we have this.
And that's pretty typical of how I bring my hand right up into frame and say, we have this. Just cut out the pause. And one of the things I find with the intro is trying to cut out as much pause as possible without making the video jump too much and keeping everything in context as possible. And that is just, that comes with all trial and error. And as you can see in between,
it's a Craftsman 21-inch lawnmower equipped with a Tecumseh 6.75 horsepower engine, or 6 3/4 horse.
So now we got to here, and this wasn't too bad, but what I'll actually do is I'll start trimming it down just a little bit more, getting rid of some of these pauses. And then we play it back.
It's a Craftsman 21-inch lawnmower equipped with a Tecumseh 6.75 horsepower engine, or 6 3/4 horse.
And then this section here, you notice, oh, there's a little bit of an angle change. So this part, just to make a nice seamless cut, I'll go all the way, and then just before the audio starts, this is one of the reasons why I like to separate the audio and the video tracks, is so that I can see trying to make it a much more seamless transition, because this is kind of what I know how to do. And so then I hit the Q button, delete that, bring it back, and I'll give it another try.
Seems to be in half decent condition, and if you remember from the previous week,
and there you go, there's an error.
and if you remember from the previous week,
So here I had to restart, so I'll listen to this again.
seems to be in half decent condition, and if you remember from the previous,
Okay, so if you remember from the previous week,
and if you remember from the previous,
so we'll take here, make a cut, then we'll cut this out, bring this back, and we'll listen to it again.
or 6 3/4 horse. Seems to be in half decent condition, and if you remember from the previous week,
So there you go. And when this video releases, well, I'll make sure that it ties back to this one, so people can come back and say, hey, look at this. There's this mower, and this is while I was making the video. But yeah, and let's say there's a photo that I want to drop on here, and I can do basically the same thing. So here I have in clips, let's say I wanted to drop in, well, our mower emoji from our memberships. So I'll take this, and again, I'll drag it over, and I'll just drop it in here. So let's say I want to drop it.
it's a Craftsman 21-inch lawnmower,
So let's right there.
lawnmower,
So I'll pop here. I'll take this, and I'll go plop, and then I'll drag this up, because I don't really want. I don't have to drag it, right? You can for custom cutting, or I can just go here, and instead of hitting Q, I'll actually hit the W, and Q is cut to the left of the cursor, and W is cut to the right. So we get rid of the right. So here we go. I'll move forward just a bit, so that's here, and then I can take these corners, and I can shrink it down to whatever size I want. And then I can pop it up here. And if I wanted, I could have this pop up and then have maybe a banner, say, check out our membership, whatever. I'm not going to right now. I just,
inch lawnmower equipped with a Tecumseh.
and there you go. And if I wanted, clicking this brings it full screen.
Hey guys, so today we have this. It's a Craftsman 21-inch lawnmower equipped with a Tecumseh 6.75 horsepower engine.
So there you go. That's a little insight into my editing routine. And as you can see here, here's a big section of audio. Look at that. It's 1 hour, 18 minutes. And this one, I strictly record separate from everything else. And that there is specifically just my lapel mic goes to a completely separate source, straight for recording audio only. And it can be a little bit of a nightmare to sync it all up. But let's say you wanted to do that. Okay, so I'm going to break this here just for giggles. And let's say this here is, I'm going to recover the audio. And let's say this here is the dedicated audio track. And this here is the video track, and it contains its own separate audio for ambient. And I wanted to make sure that they balance out together. So what I'll do, okay, so let's get this out of sequence. So there we go. It's now out of sequence. So what I'll do is I'll select them both, and I can right click, and I can go sync video to sound. So when we click that, there we go, bang. And if we play it back,
Hopefully, we can get this thing to start and run and stay that way.
as you can see, it's perfectly in sync. Whereas before, I'll hit the undo button.
Hopefully, we can get this thing to start and run and stay that way.
2003,
And maybe even cut a little bit of grass with.
So yeah, completely out of sync. So redo, bang.
Hopefully, we can get this thing to start and run and stay that way.
So the AI, because that's all it is, it does the analysis for you. And it's not a special AI like that video edit. There's a lot of video editors that do this, and it's not new technology. AI is not new technology. It's been around for a long time. Anyway, so the AI just analyzes it for you, smacks it together in a very short time. And no, it wasn't really fast here because this is a really powerful computer. It was just fast because it's really short. I mean, I've done that with some other clips, and it took about 15 minutes. So it is what it is. And that was, I think it was about an hour and 20-minute clip. And it was ridiculous how long it took. But it is what it is. My computer's not the most powerful. I just try to make it tolerable. But as you can see how they're kind of separated, well, if I want, I can bring this guy back to here, and I have this one here, auto snapping, so N, and what that allows is it allows you to snap it, so it makes it easier to, say, line things up and move, and say like I wanted to move this, so I drag and select both. If I want to bring this back here, to make it easy, I have snapping on, so bang. Now if I accidentally go too far, I have to move it a little bit further than really necessary. However, if I bring it just close, nice and slow, then there I have a little bit of a gap, and then bang, just snaps it right shut and lets me know, okay, you're in line. But at the same time, I mean, let's say you want to add a graphic. Oh, not you, Greta. I don't know how you got in there. So let's say you want to add a graphic and you want it to start right at that cut. So this makes it easy that you can get it to start at that cut. Or if you wanted it to, say, appear at the end of a cut, well, you can bring it here. There, it's at the end of a cut, and it'll just change screens. So if we go back here,
None of the above.
there, we got a mower emoji. Yay! And you can adjust this however long you want. You can drag it, or you can use the cut before, cut after, and however you want. And this, let's say we wanted to line this part up with the end of the mower emoji, then auto snapping again brings us to the end, and this way it ends up being a seamless
we can get this
transition.
thing to.
Just so you know that this software is 100% free. It is a totally free software. All my editing, I do not pay for any of the software that I'm using for the editing. Is a completely free version. You can download it from, you basically just search it on Google. But if you download the newer version, so my version here, version 2.4, like version 2.4.0, This is the version that I'm using, and as you can see, it's from 2023. So it's a couple years old, and there is a lot of there is a lot of pro features. I mean, if you really want to go way back to version 1.0, then a lot of those pro features are completely unlocked and you can use them. I don't mind not having the pro features for this, because I find pretty much everything that I want from my videos, I can get from this version. It gives me the workflow that seems really seamless, such as able to select multiple tracks and move it, like do custom cutting, such as this. And it also gives me the cut before, cut after, which I do like having, such as hitting Q and then hitting W. Oh no, look what I just did. So I'll just, of course, undo all that. But yeah, as you can see, there are features that this has that gives me the workflow that I like, that works for me, and the rest of it, well, that's up to you. Everything else becomes completely up to you. If this workflow will work for you, you can try it. By all means, absolutely try it. Or try DaVinci, because DaVinci is another one that is also free. But it does have a slightly higher learning curve. Now, there's a whole bunch of more advanced things, such as if I wanted this mower to move across the screen, I could use just under basic, I just say select position, and there we go. I got a time marker. And say I just wanted it to shoot across the screen in that amount of time. Well, now I just move it over to here, right off the screen. And if we go back here,
Get this thing to start and run.
There it goes.
Stay that way.
It just left the screen. So there are some advanced features that really don't take much skill to do. It's really simple. It's just set a mark here and then set a mark here that you want it to go. And so it just says, okay, you want me to move it. So it does. Now the different animations, if I wanted, I could say, let's say I wanted it to go out, or let's say when it comes in, I wanted it to slide to the right. So okay, I can go here and
hopefully we can get this thing to start.
There it is.
And run and stay that way. And maybe even cut a little bit of.
So there you go. There's really not much skill really to learn to make some kind of cheeky, compelling videos and kind of have like a little bit of a laugh in between. And honestly, there's as you can see, there's a lot of pauses. There's a lot of pauses from walking around, doing cuts, doing this, doing that. And you don't need multiple cameras. You can do everything you need with one camera. Just know that if you're using one camera, this is just for myself. I'm not saying for you. Maybe it's just for my style that I'm using. I didn't like jump around constantly moving the tripod. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to work within a certain parameter. If I have to move one, I have to move one. What am I supposed to do? But I wanted to make sure that I always had a camera that is kind of focusing on the spots that I'm working. So I upgraded to having two phones. But I mean, I've had, as I said, I had the Nokia, which was from 2015. I brought that out. That complemented my first phone, which I think was a Pixel 4 XL, which ended up dying. And then I upgraded to a Pixel 6 Pro. I will remember you. And that died. And then a Samsung S20 FE. And that died. I'm starting to see a little bit of a pattern, and yet the Nokia is still here. I don't know what to say. Have I had a little bit of a hiccup sometimes with the Nokia? Yes, it has deleted videos on me. But then again, so is my iPhone. The iPhone 2 SE has 100% deleted videos. It's me and iPhone or iOS, we don't get along. Both my kids, they use iPhone. They don't like it when I touch their phones because it always screws up in some way. But anyway, guys, as you see, there's really not much skill really required to do editing. You can really learn it in a right hurry with certain software. Like, there is higher learning curves with the more difficult to learn software, obviously, such as Premiere Pro, but it does have a lot more advanced features that you can do. It means, like, having the more advanced features means that you can do much more in-depth editing and a little bit more, say, integration, such as Adobe After Effects and Premiere Pro. I tried to learn After Effects along with Premiere Pro, and honestly, I had a really hard time. And I found CapCut to be really intuitive. I had tried to use DaVinci. So yeah, as you can see here, DaVinci Resolve Studio 17. It's loading up. And here, I did have some videos that I've been working on, such as the Noma restoration situation. This is actually a video that I've been working on for quite a while, and I basically did the whole intro using DaVinci. And then the Champion generator I'm working on, this is turned into another, I had to put it on pause. But then the steel leaf blower winterization. This I've actually published, which is, oh, look at that. It popped up on the screen. Look at that. Right up here. So if you haven't seen this video, check here. You'll see it. But I basically edited that all through using DaVinci Resolve, but I didn't like some of the features of this program, so I didn't really get further into it. And my computer really, truly did not like this software at all. Made editing extremely difficult. Maybe I'll try it again using some techniques that I think Aaron uses from over at the Tractor Fella channel. So look at that. Yeah, it's linked up there, guys. So if you haven't seen his videos, check his out. He did a video similar to this a little while back. So we close this, and well, I'm not going to want this, but as cute as that is to have, you know what? Maybe I might leave that, and then it'll all get explained when this video comes out, or vice versa. However it happens, it'll be confusing in one, and then guess what? It'll be fine in another. It'll all come full circle one way or another. Anyway, guys, that's my editing story in a nutshell. So let's check out that string trimmer. Not right now because it's raining. So yeah, as you can see, it's raining. And oh look, subscribe! And guess what? This is that old Nokia from 2015. As I said, guys, you don't need anything special. You really don't. And I'm using the lapel microphone to do my audio recording. And here, I'll cut the audio on my microphone now. And now this is the audio strictly coming from my Nokia. As you can see, it's also really clear. And this is from 2015. And listen to how clear it is. And just so you see, you can get some pretty decent B-roll. So yeah, even on the front-facing camera, it's half decent. I mean, it's old, and the front-facing camera really does show the age. But in all honesty, it's not a bad phone. And if this is what you can use, this is what you can use. You don't need anything fancy at all to work and do your own YouTube in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, as you could see, it's raining a fair bit out here. So I can't really test the string trimmer right now. So I'm going to wait until this dries up. And then from here, I'm going to cut it. And we're going to go to the string trimmer and we're going to see how that goes. Right. I forgot.
as far as thumbnails go. Now, that's the other thing that's good about CapCut. So before we quite go take a look at the that home light trimmer to see if it works. Thumbnails is another thing that actually works out pretty well on this, because I can click here, say click to edit cover, and later ones you can actually go a little bit more, like later versions you can go a little bit more in depth, but the later versions more starts becoming behind a paywall, and some of the features just, so the newer the version, the more things end up going behind paywall. So what I usually do, like when it came to picking my version, is I found a version that gave me the most comfortable workflow that I could work with. So in this version, I kind of have to select a point in the video. So to do that, I can say I go to, say right here, and this is the part that I want to have for my video. So I go select from video. You can even say, if you did a screenshot, you can pick local and use a separate program for making your videos or making your thumbnails as well. But usually to make things easy, I just select from video, then I click edit, and then using this, I can crop it to however I want. So let's say I just want to have just this right here to make it look like, oh yeah, I'm working on a lawnmower. Okay, so then I'll click cropped, and then bang, there we go. Now it's a little bit closer, and if I wanted to add text, I've got some favorites that I use. So let's say this one, and I can just change it to whatever I want, such as and then I can increase the size and change the font. Now you have to be careful, because some fonts, believe it or not, they are they're behind a paywall. So let's say I clicked everlasting, and this is what we get. Oh, isn't that cute? So there we go, the big Tecumseh. It kind of like a throwback to the Big Lebowski, but and then let's say this is kind of how I want my thumbnail to be. All right, so I'll click complete. Now when I want to export the video and turn it into, say, I don't know, the video I want to upload, let's say this is all complete. I want to export it, so I'll click export. Now, if anything here in the video is behind a paywall, this here will say, instead of export, it'll say join pro. And I'll show you what I mean about fonts being behind a paywall. So let's say I pick, instead of ZY Everlasting, I pick Steady, because this one I know is actually behind a paywall, and I click complete. Now if I click export, look at that, join pro. And you can see right here it tells you ZY Steady. And it's like, oh, that's the font. And it tells you exactly where it is at the cover. 0 seconds. Okay, back to edit. So I go back to here, and I'll take this and I'll go back to what I had before, everlasting, complete, export, and there we go. And it'll create the thumbnail for you. And you can add that video cover at the beginning of your video if you want. Really good for shorts, actually, because when you upload them and you edit them in the app, it has that cover at the beginning. So you can take that scene right from the very beginning, and there you go, you got your thumbnail. So I think that's kind of cool. But anyway, guys, let's go check out that home light trimmer. And we're going to go back outside to Mikeanic, who was giving some kind of a countdown or something, showing you the rain. All right, see you soon.
So we'll see you in 3, 2, 1. Okay, and there we go. Right, so will it run? Okay, let's get this air filter off. Come on, there we go. Oh good, it has an air filter. Hopefully it's not trashed. No, it's pretty good still. Okay, some choke. Sorry about that, didn't realize it was out of focus. That choke works fine. So in case you missed it, the air filter is actually in good condition. Just needs to be re-oiled. So let's add a little bit of 2-stroke and try this out. See if it'll start. What do you think, guys? Do you think it'll start? I think it'll start. So the tripod is an old tripod I've had for, well, it's old, so I've had it for a while. At least I think since around 2015 is when I got it. And I used it for photography with a large 4x5 camera. It looks like this. And this has worked out really well. Now this part, it's a recent acquisition. That one, I'll link this down below, and I'll link the tripod, if it's still available, down below as well. This tripod, it came with that ball mount head. So I mean, it is a good purchase, but I don't know if it's still available. And at the time, it really wasn't that expensive. I think it was under $100 Canadian, which is like, what, 10 bucks US or something like that. There. Oops. There. Try to angle it in such a way that I can just set it up. So let's see. How good is my angle? Did I have the right angle of that angle? Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Missed a little bit. There. Perfect. So I'll link this tripod, and I'll link my other tripod I have in the description below. And yeah, let me grab some 2-stroke and see if this thing fires. Okay, I'll dribble some of this 2-stroke fuel in there. Well, I can already see these fuel lines. They're actually not that bad. Huh. They're pretty pliable. They're just ugly. So let's dribble some of this stuff in here. There we go. Oops. Hope that wasn't too much. Right, so where's there it is. So let's pull it over, see if it'll start. Oh, I think she's gonna start. Oh, she started. Let's add a little bit more fuel. Okay, so let's try it. Probably flooded it. Definitely flooded it. Okay, so guess we can't add that much. Let's try. Well, we saw that it did start. It would have been nice if it actually went, you know, like a rabid dog. That would have been nice. So let's try it a couple more times. There we go. Yeah. So we got a runner, guys. We definitely have a runner. Not bad. Not bad at all. Let's do that one more time. Just, you know, just for reasons. Nice. Ha ha ha. Yeah, she's a runner. Oof. She's definitely a runner. Okay, guys. Well, I guess that's it for this one. It was definitely a definitely. Will it run? Yes, it will. It absolutely will run. So we're gonna give the carburetor a run through. Expect a video on that. And yeah, guys, it was good to get into it a little bit and show basically how I YouTube. It may be a little chaotic, and guess what? This video is being finished out with that old Nokia. It's a Lumia 1020. I just realized that through the whole video I just called it an old Nokia Windows phone or something like that. It's a Nokia Lumia 1020. It has a little bit of a cult following, which has pushed the prices up a little high, a lot higher than I think the phone is really worth. But because of that camera on it, as I said, it does kind of have a bit of a cult following, which, well, I mean, I really can't fault it. It was a really good camera for the time. It was a really good phone for the time. And phone-wise, kind of sucks. But camera-wise, yeah, for a cheap digital that does full HD, yeah, it's not bad. And the audio's half decent coming out of it. So anyway, guys, that's it for this one. So it's a wrap. And yeah, I guess, right. Well, look, there's a spark plug. So, you know how it is. Spark plug off for safety, guys. If I can get this one off. Oh, gee.